Well, so this is to show basically what a clot I am, because I had a swarm going to the brambles next to my apiary, but over 2 fences, so it wasn't conveniently next to my apiary. And so I trotted over with a nuke box, which was this one, and I think at the time it actually had an extra brood size eek on it, so there were there were 6 frames in the base that were from last year and had been moth eaten and chewed up, and they were dreadful. And I left 2 of the old frames in the top part, which was that bit, and put in 4 frames of foundation, because that's all I could lay my hands on at the time. And it looked like quite a big swarm, so I thought I'll give them 2 boxes. And I shook them down into the boxes, and they stayed there like good little bees. And about 3 weeks later, I finally arranged to get some help to move them. So on the Tuesday evening, I put an empty eek, the same size as that, on top of the 2 that were there already. Put a lid on, put the straps round, and closed up the entrance. And on the Wednesday morning, Josh and I went over and lifted it over the 2 fences and put it in the apiary and left it there until Sunday morning. I went up, and the bees by then had not chewed the grass out of the entrance, so they were still stuck in there. So I pulled it out loose and they started coming out, and I thought it was all fine. And then when I looked in there yesterday or the day before, the thing had melted down, the whole sort of setup had melted down. So I had these were the 4 frames of foundation that went in, and that I think is the worst one. But the basically the whole of the wax where there wasn't brood, so the bits where there was honey, had just sagged down to the bottom bars, so that bit probably came out of there. So all the honey ran out, obviously. So I had that one like that, with a bit of brood in it. That one like that, with a lot more brood in it. That one like that, with a lot more brood in it. And that one with again more brood in it. So that was those 4. There were all the other frames that had brood in, the brood was dead and cooked. And in the bottom of the base box, I have about 2 inches of dead bees, which were, by the time I opened it up, beginning to ferment. So the whole thing smelled a bit like a bad brewery. We got a stick or something so we can delve out in the debris. There were actually more bees in it than that, but my local bird or shrewish life have been in there overnight digging them out. But so I mean they're quite deep. So there's the mesh bottom. So I think what's happened is that they started to get too hot, and maybe some of the bees succumbed and went down, fell down to the floor, so they would then block out completely the ventilation in there. And so it then got even worse, and because these dead bees and it's all getting hot, they all got a bit excitable, so they would then probably start humming and roaring, and what bees do when they're panic stricken. So it all got hotter and hotter and hotter, and eventually it just cooked all the brood, killed loads more bees, melted out the foundation, and basically it's all gone to pot. So yeah, that's what happens when you move big strong nuclei in polystyrene boxes, apparently. So I shall have to be much more careful in future. So anyway, what I'm going to do is, because this box is pretty old anyway, and it's got holes in where the wax moths have pupated in the sides, I shall probably cut holes in the sides and put bits of wire mesh in for ventilation, and use it exclusively as a travelling nuke, and also not this lid, but the one I've got, another one that's actually got holes through it where the woodpeckers have been having a go, and I'll cut a big piece out of that and put a piece of mesh in that and make that into like a travelling lid.
Yeah.
So that there's through ventilation, so I shan't have this again in the future. But it is really sad when you sort of come along and expect to find your nice nuke full of bees, and you find your nice nuke is actually full of dead bees and melted wax, and it's all gone to nothing. So that's like 3 weeks and 4 sheets of foundation wasted. But yeah, I really thought they'd have enough space to be ventilated enough, or be able to not overheat. But there you go, just goes to show.
Any advice for anyone moving? If it's a large one, don't shut it in for very long.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, because I was only moving them about 20 yards, I had to shut them in for at least 3 days.
Yeah.
I expected them to be out by the Saturday, so they're actually locked in for 1 day extra, but I think the damage has already been done. So you know, I mean, if you're moving them along a reasonable distance, then you don't have to shut them in at all. You just close the gate, move the nuke, open it up, and away you go. But when it's a move within the apiary or something like that, then I don't really know what to say. You have to do it with, you have to improve the ventilation somehow. So yeah, maybe move them into a standard box first and then move it, or something like that, because obviously moving a strong swarm in, as it was 3 of these poly boxes, isn't giving them enough extra air. And of course, because it's polystyrene, it's going to get hotter quicker than a wooden box, so that's all I can really suggest.
Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy what we do here at Mantel Farm. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and to keep up to date with our latest videos here on YouTube.